The Silly Goose Gang Podcast.
Well, first of all, happy birthday, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the party pack.
Very welcome.
What are you drinking? Sugar,
Aye, basically.
Cool.
Basically, pretend strawberry and lime flavoured cider, which isn't a cider because it's not got apple in it.
No, it's
But
just
it'll
a
do.
fucking
It'll do.
nonsense.
Aye.
Anyway,
50 not out, eh?
episode 50 has been recorded and released.
Indeed.
With our dear friend, we can now say that, Jason.
Jason Gardner.
Jason Gardner. Yeah, that's genuinely I listened to that on the way to Schiehallion on what day it was, Saturday. So much fun. You know what? You know the complaint that I had as a listener wasn't long enough.
Probably not, because we did
Wasn't
kind
long
of.
enough.
Because I'm sure I can't remember what happened, but it got to the hour and something was going wrong technically. Was it your phone was dying or something?
No. It kept telling me that I had I was losing connection.
Right.
So it kept it would tell you I had a weak connection, and then it would drop out, but then it would kick back in. So I'm going, shit, I don't know if I lost everybody or
Yeah.
And then it just starts to look terrible when you record it, so you're going, fuck. But
you know what that means, though? We'll just need to do a third episode with Jason.
Episode 3, Jason Gardner. I speak to Jason all day. All
So
fucking day.
just
That
get
is
telling
awesome.
stories.
The guy's awesome, and he loves telling the stories. He gets so animated. It's amazing. So, yep, we've also got, it's worth saying that we've also got episode 51 and 52 recorded, which were fantastic. A couple of episodes in December to record. We have a pretty solid guest to start January with as well. That's looking promising. Crazy, man.
I was working
Absolutely
out that
crazy.
We've already lined up, confirmed, including what we've recorded. We're now heading into episode 57, which is
Some
crazy.
Two morons on Fife. No idea what they're doing. I'll tell you one thing. Listening to the entire Jason Gardner episode, sound quality is fucking tremendous with these mics.
I know. I was getting slagged the first week at work because I started using this mic and headphone setup at work, but I don't care because the sound quality is so good that I'm happy to do it.
So good. So, yeah, if you think back to who was the first guest? Who was the first guest we had? Andy.
Yeah, episode 3.
Andy Smith. Episode 3, Andy Smith. Shout out to Andy Smith. That guy is doing tremendous work right now, trying to get or keep Scottish gyms open.
Absolutely. If ever
really
the
fighting
sentiment
hard,
of not all heroes wear capes, it definitely applies to Andy in that situation. Like, he's done a ton of work.
Andy probably does wear a cape at times. He's quite eccentric like that.
That's true.
But yeah, Andy's another guy, fucking absolutely salt of the earth. A cool way to start our guests. Who did we have on after that? When was Ian Mackey?
He was episode 4.
Ian
That was our
Mackey
second.
on?
So our fourth episode. We spoke to an Olympian. An Olympian? That's not even a word, that like.
Olympian.
An Olympian. Spoke to an Olympian on episode 4. Which is
that's it. And I remember this is insane to think about this, because Ian is a friend that I speak to at the gym, and I was nervous as shit, because Ian's like I don't want to say hero because I know him. You know, it's kind of weird calling somebody you know a hero, but Ian's definitely a role model. A local guy to us, going to the Olympics and being kind of a local hero. So officially on camera, I was like, holy shit. I was super nerve-wracking. And yeah, again, Ian's got loads more stories to tell. We might speak to Ian again at some point in 2021. I'm trying to think who was I'm trying to think of the episode, how they were. I can't remember.
If you don't get episode 5, someone is going to be very, very annoyed with you, Chris. Someone we both know very well, who may or may not have awarded us our blue belts.
Oh shit, Dan. This guy's a fucking ass. Fuck Dan. Fuck Dan.
Yeah, it was
man.
Dan on episode 5.
Yeah. Dan's again another dear friend of mine. Yeah, that was Dan is at best a difficult character to pin down and do anything with. Probably stupidest episode we did because it was just Dan making fun of me. So if you want to hear somebody take the piss out of me for an hour, listen to episode 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not we're not going all the way through everybody because I can't remember everybody. I can't remember everybody.
Tell you what though, what was the first episode where you were like, holy shit, this is getting ridiculous?
I know exactly who it was, and I know exactly where I was when you messaged me. The first one I went, fuck, that's mental, was Brandon McCaffrey. And I was running at Lochleven. And I had the message, went, looked at my phone, come up, Ali, and what the fuck's this? And it was like, Brandon McCaffrey said he'll come and do the podcast. Like, what? Brandon McCaffrey? Like, what the fuck? Obviously, jiu-jitsu royalty. That was kind of nerve-wracking. And then really, the first one where it got stupid was obviously Robin.
Yeah.
That was the one, but it was like this is fucking like, and that's the one we've both spoke about it now. We were thinking about having to change the name of the podcast because like fuck man, this is like a guy from the FBI and we're calling it the fucking Silly Goose Gang. We must look like twats. And then he was just like, man, I love it, fucking love it. Oh, okay. Well, the name stays in. So
yeah, totally, 100%. I think that run where we went. Professor Jeff Meldrum, Dr. Martin Peters, and
Martin Pepper, you son of a bitch.
What did I say? Peters.
You say Martin Peppers. It's not Andy Peters, you fuck. You say Dr. Pepper's name, you bastard.
Dr. Peppers. And then Robin Dreek. Those 3 episodes were the ones where I was just like, what is going on at this point?
This is crazy. And we could easily speak to each one of those guys again. I think, did you say we're speaking to Robin again at some point?
Yeah, I've already dropped him a message and he said he'd be happy to come on any point in 2021, which is, again, insane that we have a podcast friend from the FBI.
We have a podcast friend, a guy in the FBI, Robin Dreek. We were probably pretty shit. We were definitely shit back then. Sound quality was terrible. I had no idea what we were doing. Obviously now we're world class.
Absolutely. I mean, that was episode 19 that we did with Robin.
Was it?
Which is mad. It is, because I've got the list in front of me. But
who am I
episode
missing
19.
out then?
What was that?
Who am I missing out then? That seems like I've missed a whole chunk of people out.
We did, because we had the run where we were still kind of getting our feet. So we were speaking mostly to people we kind of knew or did know.
Harris,
so like,
we did
Harris, we did my mate Chris Salmond, we did Fletch. We did Fletch on episode 8.
That's right. Fletch was early on. Shout out to Fletch, man.
Absolutely.
Hey,
and
Fletch, I know you're going to listen to this. We love you.
And then we were episode 9 was Gumpy.
Big Gumpy, man. My pal Gumpy. I fucking love that guy as well. Absolutely salty there.
And then I think there needs to be a shout out for episode 12, Barry Gibson.
Barry, I forgot about that as well, man. Forgot about Barry. Fuck, sorry, Barry. You've got a powerful beard. Another guy who really...
All his neighbours think he's fucking mental. I post on his Facebook all the time because he's got, if anyone's not seen Barry Gibson, go and follow Grapple Fit. And he's got this crazy like scaffolding contraption in his back garden that he does like crazy judo and sambo throws, and he's out there in all weather swinging clubs and just, it looks like he's basically dancing. And I can just imagine his neighbours being like, Maureen, look what the fucking nut has been up to this time. Just peering out their curtains at him.
Where's the neighbour?
Neighbours from somewhere Englandshire.
Englandshire, cool. Yeah, but another one who he posted today saying happy birthday, and I was like, as soon as we're allowed to, I'm coming to train with you.
Yeah, I'd say the
We'll
same.
jump in the car, go to Sunderland, and train with Barry. Fucking lovely guy. And we didn't really speak to Barry much about stuff that we should have done. So we didn't speak to him about working with Ross Pearson. One of my mates, Brian Muckles. Brian was like, Brian's from Sunderland as well, and he said Barry was a legend, an S&C legend in the northeast of England. He was a guy who pioneered a lot of stuff down there. So, yeah.
I remember about a month after
easily...
he was on us, Joe Dolce, what's his name? Joe Dolce Diet, got him on his podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it was a step down for Barry, but I was pleased for him.
Obviously a step down for Barry, yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's so many, I forgot my Mop.
And Andy Torbett.
Andy Torbett as well. Yeah, another guy, awesome, fucking Action Man, the voice of Action Man. Speaking does, idiots. In fact, would Andy Torbett have been the last Scottish person we spoke to?
No.
Probably.
We had Mark Turner.
Or Mark Turner on, that was right, yeah. Yeah, that's right, we did. My memory is fucking dog
I'm just trying
shit.
to work out, did we have, because we also had Alan Smith from Discovery Wrestling.
We did have Alan Smith on, that was right, and that was quite late
He's
as well. That was
actually,
like episode 30 something.
Aye. He was actually the last Scot that we spoke to.
Was it?
Yeah. Just as it's scrolling up and down my list here. He was episode 29, just after Kelly Pavlik.
That was the one, man. I swear. I showed you the watch. Showed you my watch, and my heart rate, my resting heart rate was 120 before we spoke to Kelly Pavlik. I think that was the last time where I was properly like, holy shit. And like a bit of a boxing fucking hero to me. Great fighter. Just a fucking lovely guy. So nice. So nice. And what the amazing thing is pretty much everybody. The only person we've had who was a bit of a dick was an unnamed person who refused to get Skype. And other than that, you've been speaking. We've been speaking to people who are pretty fucking famous, and everybody's been so nice on camera, off camera. Kelly was the same. Just a sweetheart of a guy. Yeah. We've been lucky in the way, there's that one guest who we will not name because he's a twat. We'll see. I might name him once I start to get down these beers. You fucking asshole. But yeah, everybody's been lovely. So
we have been so lucky. It's like we've both said multiple times on the podcast. The number of people that have messaged both me and you and did a variation of how do you get these guests, and the answer is always I ask them.
Ask them.
And they go,
say yes.
Are you not worried that they say no or laugh at you? No, I expect them to say no and laugh at me. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Do you know what I mean? When we're getting people like Bert Soren, when we're getting people like Jack Carr coming on.
Jack Carr.
That
time, last week when I put something up and I screenshotted it to you, and I was just crying, just sitting looking at my phone going, I was at work. And I posted a picture on Instagram. Can't remember what it was.
It was you lunging in your driveway.
Me lunging in the driveway. And, oh dear, the beer's gassy. And it comes up. The first three people that like, or first four people that like to message the picture were you, Jack Carr, Jason Gardner, and Laura Zera. And I was just like, what the fuck? How crazy has my life become? And again, man, I mean, genuinely, absolute sweethearts. Jack Carr is the nicest guy. Jason Gardner is the nicest guy.
Absolutely.
Laura is mental.
Aye.
What now?
Great and powerful Laura Zera, as I call her in the episode we're about to upload. I think in terms of craziness, though, I think we'd be hard pushed to top episode 36, Marcus Torgerson. Marcus, another absolute sweetheart of a man, sent you possibly the finest ever voice message I've ever heard.
I am so fucking happy that I was on my phone and we had these mics out. That was before Jack Carr, right? And I think I'd replied to his story because he had said something about Jack, and so we were like, so I just replied saying, "Oh man, we're about to speak to Jack in 30 minutes," and he sent me a voice note on Instagram, and I won't tell everybody what it says, but I'm so glad that you were here to hear that, because that message was legendary. Marcus Torgerson is a fucking absolute fucking beautiful human being. We love that guy. Definitely, we speak to Marcus again. Yeah, it's amazing.
Devil with Tourette's.
Yes, sir. He's. I'm looking forward to it. I still haven't watched the 100 Deadly Skills episodes yet. In fact, I'm going to watch them after this. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm glad Marcus is getting some recognition for his work with Clint. Obviously, we have to talk about Clint, because that was... I maintain to this day, we've gotten as far in Violent Nomad T-shirt, that we've gotten as far as we have with the podcast because of Clint. I genuinely believe he was the first guy who I think gave us, so, you know, a lot of the guys, Dr. Pepper and Robin Dreek, Kelly Pavlik, these guys, you know, they all gave us, you know, they were all big names.
Yeah.
I think Clint is the one that gave us credibility, because I think people then, you know, Jason Gardner, for example, in the beginning, he went and said, "Let me go and have a look," and he looked at it, and I think looking down and seeing Clint Emerson's name, he went, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So I think forever we will be due Clint a million thanks and a couple of beers. So thank you very much, Clint.
It is still
great guy.
still the episode with Clint, which was episode 22. That's how early we jumped in with Clint Emerson. Still our most viewed episode ever on our YouTube channel. It's got the most minutes watched, and as you say, I do think it gave us that instant. In certain circles, gave us that instant, just like we spoke to Clint Emerson.
All right, I'm not paying attention anymore. I'm looking at what beer I'm going to have. That's the most important thing here. But yeah, definitely, Clint, definitely give us the credibility that we don't deserve. Yeah, I mean, you know what episode I really enjoyed was Johnny Watt played a couple of songs for us from Foreign Vox. It was a really, really fun conversation, and it was something a bit different. It's something that I would be keen to do again. We might have to. There's a couple of musicians I would love to speak to, and hopefully get them to do a couple of songs. That would be cool. I enjoyed that. That was quite. One of the things. I think it was Nest Night, actually. Just name dropping here, but Nest Night, which will be episode 52, and I think she had said, like, you know, such a good mixture of people, and we've been super lucky that way. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good fun one. That was a good fun one.
Remember we always said when we first started we weren't going to be a jiu-jitsu or a fight podcast, and I definitely think you can't accuse us of that, but there was a wee spell where we seemed to have a Navy SEAL on pretty much every week.
Just became a Navy SEAL podcast.
It was all right. It was it worked away, but we have had some crazy guests. Even people, like, when you start going through the list and you almost forget that they've slid away, and it's no disrespect to the guests because they're absolutely epic, but like we had Phil DeRue on, and he's just casually dropping in the name Joanna Page.
That was one of the funniest things, man.
And we're just like, we know who you're talking about as well.
Yeah, it's funny. He was talking about I shared that thing, and Joanna Jurczyk reshared on Instagram. I've got that saved on Instagram as a highlight. That her resharing it, because like, fucking hell, man, Joanna Jurczyk, baddest woman of all time.
Yeah,
has just shared something about us talking to her strength and conditioning coach on this silly little podcast in Scotland. That's hilarious. So, yeah, Phil DeRue, Ryan Mickler, another one, fucking awesome guy, doing some fantastic things. And I use these. How does he put it again? Is it social? Was it social credit? What's the way he puts it again?
Social capital.
Social capital. Sorry. I now think of that when I'm doing things, and that's a Ryan Mickler thing. So, again, really good guest, really credible guest. And the thing is, maybe Hopefully we'll speak to all these people again, and we could be a little bit better. It's a little bit intimidating when you're speaking to people who, not necessarily Ryan Mickler in particular, but when people are friends with Jocko and people are friends with Joe Rogan, you're like, fucking hell, man. We need to try our best and not look like morons.
Yeah.
That's difficult when you are a moron. So,
it does put us at a slight disadvantage. But you think about it, we spoke to two people. We've spoke to the two people that are like legitimate friends with Cam Haines, and they're like, "Do you know Cam Haines?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're familiar with his name. Oh, he's a lovely guy." Like we were out with his backyard the other month shooting bows, and you're just like, "This is insane."
Yeah,
this is absolutely insane.
That's the. I think Cam might be the ultimate guest for me. Maybe Cam or maybe Courtney DeWalter. I think that'd be super cool because she's another one who just seems like superhuman, but also like dorky and fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She seems like just like such a nice person, so down to earth, but just superhuman. That's a two possibly that I'd love to speak to.
I'd speak to either of them in a heartbeat.
Like, I think like a jock or something would be terrifying.
Yeah, no, it would be because again, because people have said, "Oh, would you not love to have Jocko or Rogan on?" It's like, of course, you wouldn't say no, but I think at that point we'd be aware we'd be so far out of our depth that we'd feel awkward and we wouldn't flow as easy.
I'm out of my depth when I'm talking to myself in the toilet.
It would be, I don't know if it would work at this stage. I mean, didn't get me wrong. If anyone that knows him was like, "Oh, you should go on those guys' podcast," and they miraculously got in touch and said, "Hey, can I come on?" We'd clear the decks. We'd do it at 2 a.m. if we had to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we would make it happen. But you would be.
I don't think we're anywhere near ready for that. Listen, let's be honest. We're never speaking to Jocko. We're never speaking to Cam Haines. We're never speaking to Courtney DeWalter. We're never speaking to Joe Rogan. It's never going to happen. But we're not ready for it anyway, so it's irrelevant. And you probably shit yourself and go.
100%. We both.
But yeah.
What about one of the best storytellers we've had on, Jeremiah Sullivan, episode 31.
He was one of those guys where when he's telling you stories, he's just sitting going, "What happened next? What happened next? Oh my God, Jeremiah, are you okay?" He was just a fucking sweetheart. It sounds like you're making it up when you're saying, "Oh my God, he was such a nice guy," or "She was such a nice guy." Like, they've all been so nice. Jeremiah was just a darling, just the nicest guy in the world. Just going, "Man, I wish I was as cool as you when I'm in my 60s.
Yeah, I wish I was as cool as him in my 40s.
Sorry. I wish I was as cool as Jeremiah now. Sorry, Jeremiah. We love you as well. Totally. And then, of course, his dear friend, Mike Bolton. Mike still messages regularly and is like, "Hey, how's it going, amigos?" Fuck, man. Yeah, we love Mike.
I've had a couple of people message me about that. To say, like, "Oh, listen to that one, the crazy old guy that hunts for treasure. He's crazy." And I'm like, "Yes, he is."
Yep, Mike's a fucking awesome guy. Awesome guy down there in Panama. Do
you know the thing is, I love the fact that there's people like Mike in the world that have just spent their entire lives hunting for treasure in Panama. Do you know what I mean? Like, Mike, what do you want to do when you leave school? "I'm going to go hunt for treasure in Panama." And he fucking went out and did
sharks. Film sharks. He has done some work with Ocean Ramsey, so that's pretty cool. One of the big names in that field. Another guy, just fucking so nice. Still messages regularly. My phone beeps at least once a week from Mike. Just a fucking cool guy. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. This chain of events. It's led to this stuff, but
I think one of the wildest episodes we recorded was 32 with Michael Jacko or Jaco.
Jaco, Mike. Yeah, Michael was another one, man. Fucking that guy hurt my head. That was one of the episodes where I don't listen to them. The only episode I've listened to is Jason Gardner #2. After it, there was a few things that Michael had said. And it's like, man, I fucking should have pulled him up on that. A few things that he had said, and you go, man, I should have circled back to that, and I should have wrote things down, because he was just rattling things off so quickly. It was hard to wait a minute. We need to, and that's a thing as well. Whereas I don't feel comfortable enough stopping the guest talking now to say, okay, just stop you right there. What do you mean by that? Yeah. What does that mean? You know what I mean? I'm not comfortable enough stopping the star. So that's something we need to get better at. But a really interesting conversation. Yeah, that was a good one. There's so many of these that I've completely forgotten. I've got a dog shit memory. I don't mean any offence to any wonderful guests. I just can't remember a lot of things. But yeah, that was a great one. I'd definitely speak to Michael again. In fact, we will speak to Michael again.
Definitely
we'll wait until Joe Biden's in office, and we'll get the skinny. See what he's saying.
Unleash the Kraken.
Maybe we should try and get Donald Trump on.
Oh, I'd love to get Trump. Can you, like I said, I sent that picture. I sent that picture that I'm sure it was Tim Kennedy.
The best numbers in the world. Huge numbers.
It would be amazing. Huge. It's gonna be huge. It'd be amazing. But I sent you that picture. I'm sure it was Tim Kennedy shared it just on election night in the States, and it was like Tim Kennedy, Cowboy Cerrone, and President Trump. And I was like, holy shit, episode 100 coming at you. Tim Kennedy would be up there on the
Tim Kennedy would be up there.
Guest.
Definitely. Tim Kennedy's a fucking Do
you know 2 episodes that I really enjoyed, and kind of, and again, no disrespect to the 2 guys that did it, but they kind of disappeared a little bit into the background, partly because they were a few months back as well. But Joe Struthers and Gareth Timmins episodes, because Gareth again and Joe, both absolute sweethearts, still keep in touch regularly.
Yes,
I think you just bought one of the bottles from Gareth's company, becoming the 0.1%.
It's on the couch over there. Really nice bottles. Gareth's a lovely guy. I think his book's out soon, so we'll have Gareth back on. I've got a couple of his t-shirts and yes, his merch, and fucking awesome guy, really nice guy. Still keeps in touch. Joe's the same. Joe was kind enough to sign a couple of his books for us, which is awesome to look back on. I've got some of Joe's merch, and I'm waiting on he's got one of his Crafty Rogues caps and the Lair Resistance hoodies that I'm waiting on. So I'm looking forward to that. His merch is pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. I tell you who's just coming to my head there, because I'm looking at it, is the Mark Ormrod hoodie. That was a guess, man. That was one of the stories where it was like, oh, holy shit. That might have been the first story, I think, but it was like, holy shit. Guys, fucking story is unbelievable. And if you haven't listened to that episode, if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to that episode, go and listen to the last 20 minutes of Mark Ormrod. The episode. What number is it?
Episode 39. Episode 39.
Go listen to the last 20 minutes of it.
It's incredible.
Obviously listen to the whole podcast. But if you don't have the time, listen to the last 20 minutes. The story is fucking insane.
Do you know what I love most about that episode? Is when we were chatting off camera and planning it, we were going to open with that story. And then circle back, because for anyone listening, and Mark does jiu-jitsu the same as me and Chris, and we decided we're going to finish on the high of the jiu-jitsu, but we got into jiu-jitsu talk very early, and then finished with that story. And I think it actually works so much better that we kind of one of the last things he says is, the end of that story that you're all going to go and listen to on episode 39. But and then a couple of episodes after that, we had who had possibly as crazy stories was episode 41, Nick Lavery.
Lavery, man. That's
the first guy. Took an AK-47 round to the face, nothing major. We're like, whoa.
Yeah. No, that's Kenny Major. I think he's the first guy, would I be right in saying, that said that he listens? Like, he listens to it. I've listened to some man. You guys are doing awesome. I'm like, wait, what? Nick's listening to us. Fucking hell, man, that's crazy. It was a little bit surreal. So if Nick, if you're listening to this, shout out. That guy's a beast. That was again, stories are crazy. Just this giant human being, and he's getting shot and kind of brushing it off like it's nothing. Like, come on, man, you've been fucking shot. What the fuck?
I think one of his best lines, and I think he actually said it on camera. He definitely said it off camera, but he might even have said it on camera, as he was looking forward to doing a podcast where people could understand his accent for once instead of the host's with his Boston twang.
Yeah, Boston
Which is,
twang. Yeah,
absolute madness.
Yeah.
But as you say, we've been real lucky with the guests we've had on, eh?
yeah.
And even recent guests, episode 45, Dan Strauss shouted to the Raspberry Ape.
Raspberry
I
Ape,
still
man.
think you both said it was probably the best episode we'd recorded to date with that episode.
It was definitely the best episode because, and here's the thing, is when you're recording a podcast, is the guest has to be engaging.
Yes.
If the guest isn't engaging, it becomes very difficult to speak to somebody. If they just answer the question with no fat on it, it's hard work. Dan's one of those guys who would just go with it. You know what I mean? He just trying to think of the so Professor Meldrum was very much like that. Just went with it. It was very easy. He just kind of went off on these tangents, and he was like, "Oh, cool, he's doing all the work. This is easy." Jeremiah was the same. Fantastic storyteller, and very, very free flowing. And Dan Strauss was the same. Just so easy. And that was, up until that point, I believe, the best podcast we had done.
Yeah.
Might still be the best podcast we've done in terms of how it went in the chat and how it was kind of formed, and we were kind of on it. That was very good. I think people have to remember, we don't come from any kind of background in media or any of this shit. None. We're just two people speaking to people, and it is. I know everybody thinks you could do. So probably someday we'll watch this and go, "Oh, man, you guys are fucking shit. You fucking idiots." Yeah, well, we are, but this is way harder than you think. Trying to formulate a conversation to make it interesting so that people watch it. A lot of people watch us. Not a lot of people listen to us, but people do. So we can't be terrible at it.
No, we can be. I mean, we've got, as we've shared a few times and on the Instagram story, we've had downloads of our audio in 30 countries now.
Now, this is something that I want to talk about, because I want the people who are listening in these far-flung places. So, a guy did on YouTube, a guy from Ireland. I'm a new fan from Ireland. Come on, have we got fans? So that guy in Ireland, what's up, man? How you doing? And but the guys in Jordan, Saudi Arabia,
Montenegro.
Montenegro. What the fuck? Why is somebody listening to us in Montenegro? If you're listening to us in Montenegro, how are you doing? Reach out.
What is interesting
give us a shout.
Yeah, definitely give us a shout. Is we've just added a country, or it's just started to appear a little bit more regularly, as Puerto Rico. Now I'm just thinking, I think there is a correlation there as Gordon Ryan, Gary Tonin, John Danaher have all just moved out there. They must be listening to the Silly Goose Gang.
Don't mention steroids.
Mention steroids.
Shit. But yeah, these people in these countries, I genuinely, I would love it if somebody from Montenegro just reached out and said, "I'm the guy who listens to Montenegro. How fucking how's it going, man? What did you do for a living? What's your routine?" I'm interested.
100%.
I just want to know, how did you find out about us? Any of these countries.
Yeah. Anyone that's listening to either listening to this on the audio, jump to Instagram, Silly Goose Gang Podcast. If you're watching it on YouTube, drop us a comment below. Well, genuinely, it's fun for us.
It's fun for us,
like all the influencers do. Click like and subscribe, guys. But genuinely, drop us a comment. Get in touch.
Don't ever do that again.
I can't help it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
Yeah, it'd be so cool to speak to you. I know some of the. So it's It's my buddy Davis White is a guy who listens in New Zealand. He had to stop listening to a couple because I was apparently swearing. I don't believe that for a minute, but yeah, apparently I was fucking swearing sometimes, and he had to stop listening because he's kid in the car. So sorry about that, Davis. And I know some people who listen abroad.
Yeah. Well, we know we've got. We know Megan McDougall's going to be listening over in Canada.
Canada. I was just going to say that I think Megan is a listener now, in good old the United States of Canada, and yeah, she's the first person who was nervous to talk to us, which is hilarious.
I know.
I think she realised quite quickly that we're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But
I was actually I messaged her the other day. She listened to 20 minutes of her episode before she gave up at the hatred of her own voice.
Yeah, that's what I do. I hate my own voice as well. Yeah, lovely girl, really nice girl. I actually need to go and follow along. Is it mindset on mobility?
Mindset on mobility, all one word, yeah.
Yeah. I need to go and actually check it out, and actually, I need to go and do some mobility stuff. To be fair,
we've had some fierce women on our podcast though.
Fuck, joking. Some of the craziest. And one that we've just completely fucking forgot about. Gail Ems. Gail Ems is brilliant. Badminton legend, the queen of badminton. Fucking absolutely awesome girl to speak to. She seems like she'd be a lot of fun on a night out.
Yeah, she would.
Seems like a really, really good fun girl. She was really good to talk to. I did enjoy talking to Gail. She was good fun. And of course the ones that aren't out yet, Laura and Ness. Fucking bonkers, absolutely bonkers, completely crazy, in the best possible way, but completely fucking mad.
Absolutely, and even the very first lassie that we convinced to come on, Aim Fury, way back episode 25.
Yeah, way back.
She's absolutely killing it now. You know what I mean?
She's doing well, man. She's doing awesome, really good.
I think the wee boost she got from the Silly Goose Gang definitely helped her.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Why wouldn't it?
It could only be.
we made her. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We definitely did. But it's been wild and wild and wild. Even talking about powerful beards, obviously back in his playing days, but still quite powerful. Joe Hawley, back in the 20s, was 700-pound bench press and his 800-pound squat.
Yeah, I was quite small to play in the line. Like I'm only like 6'3" and 280. What? You're not small. You're fucking gigantic. But yeah, another guy cool, and living a really cool life. Doing his Van Man. Was it Van Man Dog Blog?
Van Man Dog Blog, yeah.
Van Man Dog Blog. Yeah, living his best life out there. He's a cool guy. Another guy who's really, really, really. So yeah, there's been why is my memory so fucking bad? I genuinely can't remember anything.
Punched in the head too much, mate. You've been punched
genuinely punched in the head too much, far too many times. If you asked me to name the episodes we've had, like, I'm not even making this up, right? So I know that we had Nest Night, Laura, Jason, Jack, Megan, and then I've fucking no idea who was 47.
So you had it was flip round. It was Megan, then Jack, then it was Ben Aldridge from Getting Comfortable Doing Uncomfortable.
That's right. That was the one podcast where I could not. I just wasn't in the mood to do it. Was not in the mood to do that podcast at all. Just kind of, okay, I'll speak, but I just wasn't in the building really. Which is a shame. It's my fault, but what can I do? I'm human. Who was before Ben?
Preet.
Fuck man, I forgot about Preet. I've completely forgot about that. My memory is horrible. That Preet sheet. I've got the t-shirt upstairs. I genuinely couldn't. If you put a fucking gun to my head and said name all 50 something episodes that you've recorded, man, you may as well shoot me.
I could
remembered
probably name
shit.
them, not necessarily in order though.
100% couldn't.
Even in that run of the 40s, we had 44 was Mr. Jiu-Jitsu, which was put up together by Marcus Torgerson.
Yes, Marcus Torgerson put that together. Again,
Another
Marcus comes
crazy
up, man. Guy's a fucking...
I know.
Yeah,
And then 42 was Phil Folsom of My Wolf Tribe.
Phil Folsom, man. Another guy. Fucking awesome guy. Yep, really, really cool guy. Man, we've spoke to some fucking cool motherfuckers, right?
Do you know who else? Do you know who else is in? He's absolutely killing it just now because obviously we follow him on the old socials. Big Mark Valenti, the refined savage. Shout out to the Mark Valenti.
Man. Mark Valenti is
man, like
he is jacked.
Oh, aye.
He is a fucking cool guy. You know what? As a guy, you know, I don't say this about many people. Mark Valenti is a guy that I would like to go and have a pint with Mark Valenti. I'd like to have a pint with Mark and just sit down and shoot the shit. I'd like to have a pint with that guy. Fucking just a nice guy. Good laugh, good fun, strong as an ox.
Oh, aye. Yeah.
In fact, actually talking about Valenti, there was supposed to be this year Highland Games down the road from me. It's supposed to be like September, and apparently, you know, it will happen next year. I am going to, I'm putting this out there, Mark Valenti, if you're listening, once I get the Keltman done with, I'm going to reach out to Mark and ask him what I should do to train for the local Highland Games. Because you know, there's loads of events, but I would like to. Obviously, we've spoken about this one. I'm ridiculous. I want to win. I don't want to go and win the hammer throw. I want to win everything. The running events, the throwing events. I want to win it all. So I'm going to reach out to Mark and say, and you know, the end of June, give myself 3 months to train for the Highland Games in Carden. See if I can win everything. Nice. I won't win everything, but I'm going to try. So yeah, I'm going to reach out to Mark sometime next year. So Mark, come to speak to you.
Nice. Do you know another episode that was really good? That it's kind of an episode in 2 parts. Was episode 30 with now I'm going to go for Giannis Papastamatiou.
Oh, Giannis, man, that's
because remember it was like half of it was sharks because it was the start of our Shark Week when we convinced Shark Week experts. They got Silly Goose Guy did Shark Week as a joke, and then it actually happened. And then basically an hour of just jiu-jitsu chat where he's like, oh yeah, I trained with Cyborg, and yeah, I've trained with it. Just throwing out name after name, top level athlete after top level athlete.
If Giannis ever posts a picture on his socials of him with Cyborg in my Dawn Brigade pink rash guard, I will lose my shit. So Giannis, no pressure.
No, totally. But it's just been a wild ride, eh? A wild ride.
You know what, man? I know a lot of people have had a shitty 2020, but there really is opportunities everywhere. There's opportunities everywhere. Not everybody can do a podcast, but there is always opportunity. If something's going terribly wrong, there's an opportunity there to do something. You have to be looking for it though, because it's very easy to go, this is shit, that's shit. It's Boris Johnson's fault. It's Nicola Sturgeon's fault. Well, whatever. It's fucking Donald Trump's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault. It's whoever. There will always be opportunities. Will always present themselves. I'm getting a bit drunk, man. I'm getting emotional.
No, I was laughing as you said Joe Biden because I now can't think of him in anything other than Kel Dunnigan. Hey, by Joe Biden, President elect, 57555 sold. Happy 4th, everyone. I mean, Corn Day.
Happy 4th of July, not 4th, 5th. Happy Corn Day.
Happy Corn Day. 7, 9, 4, and it's sold.
Dunnigan, that's a guy I would love to chat with. That would be a cool one, man.
I would just like to just have him do his voices and just push myself laughing. Like that one he posted up on Thanksgiving when he did like Jeff Goldblum and everyone was absolutely fucking cool. They're going to become dinosaurs.
They're descendants of dinosaurs. Yes.
And then I just love it when he does Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. I don't know. I have no idea who the Kardashians. I know who they are. I don't know which one's which. But you know when they just make noises. Damn. It's, you know what it is. You know what it is. It's just basically a modern version of Matt Damon.
Yeah, 100%.
That's exactly what it is. It's a modern take on that. That's all it is.
And I still can't hear Matt Damon's voice without immediately doing that in my head. They're like starring Matt Damon. Matt Damon.
That's a fucking awesome film.
Yeah,
man. Fucking awesome. But yeah. Giannis was a cool guy. That was a fucking Shark Week. Like, what the fuck? Why are we having a Shark Week?
Remember, we decided. I was like, do you know what we should try and do? We should try and do a Shark Week. Shall I see if I can get some shark experts on? Fuck it, why not? And I'm like, Chris, I've got Jeremiah Sullivan. And then shout out to Grant Cruikshank. He messages like, have you got Giannis coming on? I'm like, I don't know who Giannis is. And he's like, Giannis Papastamitiou. I'll give you his details. He used to train in St Andrews. And I was like, fire his info over.
Yeah.
And we've got a Shark Week.
Yes, sir. That was a Grant. Yeah, this is a cool thing. We have had a few of these people who have linked us together, bizarrely. Better Soren with the Laura Zera story.
Laura.
It's like, holy shit, this girl is mad. Let's speak to her. And then there you go. It's just the list of things that have to connect for this to come off is insane.
I know. And even talking Laura, and we mentioned it in the episode with Laura, but I literally slid into her DMs as I do and messaged her, and she actually said in the response, and she says it on episode 51, she's like, she never checks that other request folder because it's just full of dick pics from assholes. That she does post to her friends and they all laugh at you. So if you are sending dick pics to Laura Zera, number one, don't because you're an asshole. Number two, don't because you're an asshole. But Laura said she dropped in and happened to look at the message and saw it like the next day. So
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Call it what you will, eh?
This is something we're going to have to discuss. So I know for a fact that Laura does show everybody. But don't send pictures of your genitals to people who don't want them.
Yeah.
like I don't care who
public
you are.
Public service announcement by the silly goose guy.
Public service announcement. Don't put your old chap out and take a picture of it. Actually think of the concept. Imagine right now, right? Imagine we're in a time machine and we go back to the Victorian times. We'll go back to the Industrial Revolution. Imagine telling somebody the concept of sending a dick pic. So run this by me again. You've got this piece of plastic that fits in your pocket, right? Okay. So it's like magic. Okay, yeah. And then what you do is you go someplace secluded, usually, and you pull your cock out, right? And you press a button and it takes a picture. So what a picture is, it's kind of like
a drawing, but
it's like a drawing, but like really detailed. And then what you do is you just send them to girls that you kind of fancy, but you don't really know, hoping that she's going to open it up and go, wow.
Indeed. There's another thing, just for any listeners out there. Have you ever sent a dick pic and a girl's decided to then later fall on said dick? Because I guarantee that's never happened.
No, I'm pretty sure it hasn't. It will have happened someplace, but
it will have happened.
Yeah, nobody wants a dick pic. Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about dick pics.
Because we're talking about how wild it is and how many different connections all came together. And I was talking about how Laura went into the other messages just randomly the day I sent her the DM, and she was like, "Oh, two Scottish guys want to talk to me. That's actually cooler than a dick pic." That should be a new tagline: "Silly Goose Guy Podcast, cooler than a dick pic."
That's a t-shirt. That is a t-shirt. I don't like punk IPA. Pale ale. When I hear pale ale, what I think of is American Pie. Is it the first one? It's the first American Pie where Kevin and Vicky are in the room, and Vicky is giving them an old, and he shoots a load in the pipe, and then Stifler drinks it, and then they say, "Oh, how was the pale ale?" Woo! And he's been sick because he just drank his friend's cum. I'm going to go back to what will I have? Sorry, this is probably not very good. It's probably not very entertaining.
Sorry, our lowest ever viewed, but we don't care. We're having fun. Fuck yourself.
I'm going to have
Obviously not.
another
Yeah.
Tony Club. Yeah. So moving forward, I mean, this episode was basically just essentially we just wanted to say thank you to everybody. It's essentially why we did this. We wanted to say thanks to everybody who listens, watches, subscribes. Genuinely, it's amazing. Keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing, tell your friends. And we are going to do it as long as people listen and people agree to speak to us, and it's fun for us. We'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
See how crazy we can get with the whole thing. Where it ends up, no idea. We don't make any money from it. We don't ask for anything.
Nope.
We're just having fun.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's just like the byproduct of a really weird year.
It's like we said, we're possibly going to be two of the very, very few people, because as we said, we know people have had shit years and we totally get that. That we might actually be one of the few that are looking forward to like Facebook memories popping up for 2020, like in 2021. So we're like, a year ago, you spoke to former head of the FBI counterintelligence program, Robin Reed. And we're going to go, fuck, man, that's mild. But remember, there was a point where we were like, do you know what? Even if nothing else happens, we've got 5 episodes. We'll always have 5 episodes.
Yeah.
We'll always have 10 episodes. Do you know, we're now heading pretty much towards 60 episodes.
What are your goals now for the next year? Podcast goals and life goals. What's your goals for 2021?
Genuinely similar to what you just said about the podcast goals. Just as long as we can keep getting cool guests, and every time, and there's been a few times where I'm like, we're done. We've pumped the well dry, so to speak. There's nothing coming out of this. We've got no one, and then suddenly from nowhere I'll get a little glimpse, and someone will reply to a message I've sent maybe 2 months previous. And they'll be like, yeah, like I can't remember what happened with one of the guests. I'd messaged and I just assumed they'd not seen it and then ignored it. And then literally 2 months later, they came back and they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll come on. So as long as we keep getting guests, we'll keep doing it, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to do it. In terms of life goals, I'll be honest, I haven't set anything yet. I genuinely don't know. Genuinely don't know what the main plans are for next year. I've got nothing at all. No, even like an inkling or a half an idea. I'm not a great planner. I'm a bit more chaos and fly by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got Keltman lined up. You're there talking about Carndale Highland Games.
Keltman, that's just one of those things where I want to enter. It'll be fun. Keltman's in June. Hopefully, I'll enter there's a couple of events prior to the Keltman that I want to do just to get my feel back for competition. So there's a couple of small events I've got lined up that I'll wait and see if they're going to be happening, and then hopefully enter them. There's a couple of marathons or sky races in Norway. I've got a couple of friends in Norway, Katrine and Stig, so they always saying come out and visit us. So I'll hopefully do a sky race in Norway, and I would love to by this time next year get a purple belt. I'd like to be a purple belt next year. By then, that will be 5 years. 5 years of jiu-jitsu. 5, 6, 5. So I would like to be a purple belt. I'd like to win a couple of jiu-jitsu competitions and then be a purple belt. Possibly go back to Naga Europe and win the intermediate tournament. Should I say? And then get a purple belt. That would be the ideal year. Thing is, when you do something like the Keltman, there isn't really a lot of room for other events.
Yeah,
it's very much you have to focus on that one thing. That's a crazy thing. So yeah, that would be the ideal situation, and then do a sky race in Norway in August, and then really knuckled down for hopefully an SGI, the no-gi sub-only competition in Scotland. Big event. I'd like a big fight on that. Maybe go win some events. Maybe ADCC or Naga and get a purple belt. That'd be the ideal year. But as 2020 proves, that can all go to hell in a handbasket fairly fucking quickly.
Indeed.
And one of the things that it does bring up is just do stuff. Like if you get the opportunity, you go. I mean, I could do that competition, this jiu-jitsu competition this weekend, but I just don't feel quite ready. I was going to do this half marathon, but I'm not sure if I can do it yet, or just not sure. Listen, there could be something like this happens at any fucking point in the future. This may continue for a long time. So if you get the opportunity to do things and you want to do it, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, nothing lasts forever. And just do the things that you want to do. Like fucking genuinely seize a moment. Like this podcast is living proof of just seize the fucking moment.
Totally.
Go and do it.
Carpe diem and memento mori.
Yes, sir. So, what are your top moments on the podcast?
Top moments.
Top moment. Let's go, because guys, every guy loves a list, right? So give me a top
100%.
five. Top 5 moments.
Okay, not in any particular order, but as I run through them in my head, one of my favourite moments, and generally we've spoke about it a few times since, is when you got burned by an FBI agent. I genuinely thought that was hilarious. Where Robin's like, "Oh, you look like you're jet, you're like a ranger running through the mountains there," and you're like, in fairness, Ali's the smart one. I can tell. A 3-word burn, I can tell. An absolute burn with 3 words.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Jeremiah's story about the first ride on a great white.
That was awesome. That was very good. Ali's
She was tremendous.
You've
also frozen rather on. They're 2 of my definite favourites. Have I got other favourites actually back in the room?
I don't know what you just said there. You got Robin Drake, Jeremiah.
I don't know. Did you hear me saying about Jeremiah?
Jeremiah and the shark, yep.
And then they just was killing time because I realised you had froze. Clint Emerson's assassin test.
Yeah, definitely.
One of my favourite moments, just because it still sticks out in my mind, is what Marcus Torgerson would do with paedophiles, with the torch, the lighter, the spray can, and the fire extinguisher. Judge me if you will. That was one of those moments. Mark Ormroyd telling his story at the end of that episode.
That's 5. That's 5.
I think that's 5,
right? That's 5. Yeah, that's 5. I think. Again, no particular order, but the Robin Drake thing, that was hilarious. Getting roasted by an FBI agent was one of the funniest things ever to happen to me. I agree with the Clint Emerson assassin test. I would go and say, although not technically on the podcast, Marcus's message before the Jack Carr episode was fucking brilliant, priceless. I would say, without any question of doubt, might be the best thing that ever happened. Was Jason Gardner, the double,
bass drum of a Slayer song. Can't believe you forgot that.
Like the double bass drum on a Slayer song. That's fucking hilarious. And having Johnny Watt playing a couple of acoustic songs for us was brilliant to me. I love his music. I always liked Johnny's voice, and him playing some music. So yeah, those are the 5 things to me that I would say, fuck man, that was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I
forgot all about that. Was absolute gold. absolute gold when he dropped that in. I think we both realised at that moment as he was recording, we were both like, that is an absolute gold line that he has just dropped there.
You could probably pick 5 best moments just from Jason's second episode. Do you know what I mean? There's only 1,000 meters out. There's only 3 people in the world make that shot, and I'm not one of them. The fucking there's so many in that episode alone, and him telling the story about being in Afghan or Iraq, whatever one it was, and I said to the guy, I think that guy's shooting at you. Hey, I hope it's not personal.
Personal. Absolutely brilliant. That's what I'm saying. There's so many good moments. He's one we definitely need to get back on. He's going to become a recurring guest, I think.
I think he will do, man. I think he will do. We'll give it a little bit of time, but we'll speak to Jason again. Of course, we have Iris, Mrs. Gardner's coming. That I'm looking forward to that one. She seems like talking about fierce women. Iris looks fucking cool, doing things the right way. Girls need role models, and that's a role model for young women.
Definitely.
Doing things the right way. That picture she posted the other day on her Instagram. What's her Instagram? All the wild things.
All the wild places.
All the wild places. Sorry. Or riding a horse in the snow. It's just that's so cool. So looking forward to speaking to Iris. That's going to be a fun episode. There's so many moments already. It's just crazy. I don't know how people keep tracking these things. So
it's just been a wild ride, man. It's been a very wild ride over the last 8-10 months.
Is there any podcast that we've failed to mention that we've just completely forgot about?
Robbie Schmittner, cave diver.
Crazy. That was an
cave
interesting
explorer.
Crazy.
I think it's mostly early ones. We mentioned Harris. We mentioned Gumpy.
Don't
we mentioned Mop. Johnny Payne. Shout out to Johnny, just on Project Vertical. Anyone that's not looked into that, check out Project Vertical on YouTube.
Project Vertical is quite a thing. I just watched the documentary earlier on. I just watched the Project Vertical documentary on YouTube earlier on. Very, very good. Very well done.
Drew Sullivan, another Olympian that we spoke to.
Yeah, Olympian, and Roger Gracie brown belt. One that we forgot about. It's difficult when you speak to so many Olympians. It's difficult to keep track.
I know. Spoke to Will, Ted Planet Swindon.
Well, yeah, another lovely guy, super nice guy, and dipping his toes into the political world.
Future Prime Minister, right there. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That pretty much brings everyone into. I think we've mentioned every single person at one time or another. We're not missing anyone there. It's been just as I'm scrolling here for those that are just not watching on the YouTube. It's been a wild set of episodes we've had. Yeah, we've mentioned everyone now. We've hit everyone.
Everybody? So
everyone has had a mention. No one's feeling left out.
Yeah. It's awesome. Well, it was fun. I think we'll do this again after 100, or maybe after the year. I don't know. We need to. We've kind of floated an idea between ourselves for a 1 year anniversary. 1 year anniversary, which is hilarious. And if that episode was to come off, that would be fucking awesome. You know the one I'm talking about.
100%. Spoilers.
We have ideas in our heads. That would be, when was that? April something?
I can't remember what it was.
Couple of weeks, right?
Like the 7th of April or something. So first week in April we'll push it out.
So yeah, we'll try and nail that down. That'd be pretty amazing. So probably nobody's listening to this by this point because we're talking shit. But thank you to anybody who's listened, subscribed, told a friend, to the people who have disliked the video on YouTube. Thank you to you guys. If I ever see you in public and you tell me, I'll fucking choke you. Sorry, I'll just get Marcus Torgerson to come fuck you up.
We've got the
but
friends that can do it.
yeah, I've got the friends who can do it. But yeah, thank you to everybody who's listened. Thank you to everybody who's liked us and subscribed and all that kind of shit. And we're having fun, and we will continue to do it until nobody wants to listen anymore. So thank you. That's all I have to say.
Said it perfect, my man. Perfectly well. Rounds up, I guess, this 50 Not Out special edition on Chris's birthday.
Wow.
Chris is about 6 cans in.
Yeah.
We've just done an hour of
tipsy.
absolute inane chat that no one's ever going to listen to. But hey, you can listen to it next time you're driving about to Schiehallion.
No, I can't. I don't like listening to myself. Have you listened to me?
I've listened to you.
Yeah, I sound like
I have to listen to you all the time when I'm setting the episodes and editing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sound like a fucking asshole. So, on that note, I am going to go and get some more beer, and I'm going to watch the telly for a while and chill the fuck out. In fact, I'm going to go and watch 100 Deadly Skills on
Warrior Poet Society Network.
Poet Society. That's it. Warrior Poet Society, the network. Society, the network. I'm going to go. So, thank you to the people who didn't watch this. I don't blame you. And
my force for soul. Joe Biden, President-elect.
Hey, shall we be here?
Yeah, baby.
We will. Kyle Dunnigan, come speak to us. You will hear us again soon. In fact, you'll hear us. I don't even know when this is going out, but Friday the 4th of December is my new best friend Laura Zera is coming out. So listen to that. It'll be better than this. And thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.